What's going on, everyone? So it's been raining in Tampa here for the past week, like non-stop. So I really haven't been able to go out and catch enough fish to make a good video for you guys. So I'm gonna sit down and talk to you guys about another Gist of Tips. I'm gonna be talking about summer snook fishing. So in my last video, I talked about how I've been going out and trying to really pinpoint catching snook and redfish these past couple weeks. And I've been getting on mostly redfish, but I have been getting a lot of snook too. So today I'm just going to be talking about the different techniques I've been using, where I've been going, different baits. So hopefully you guys can catch some more snook. I just want to say before I get into it, thank you to everyone that voted on my poll that I did yesterday on which topic you wanted me to cover today. I just want to let you know those topics I gave in like the different options there, I will cover in future videos. I just wanted to see what you guys wanted to see now. And the majority of the votes were for summertime snook fishing, so that's what this video is going to be about. So the most important part of trying to catch any kind of fish is understanding where you need to be to catch them. It's pretty well known that early summer around here in Tampa Bay that you can find a lot of snook off the beaches, and I'm not going to lie, that has been my weakness ever since like high school, ever since I've started to try and catch them. I don't think I've ever caught a snook off the beach, so I'm not even gonna try. And I'll tell you, like, I know for a fact that people go out using live baits, they use grunts and pinfish, and sometimes white baits to go out and try and catch these snook. A lot of people also use like flare hawk jigs and like live targets and different lures like that. A lot of people go fly fishing too, but again, I'm not gonna cover it too much just because I don't know it so well. But one thing I'm looking to do in the future is bring in people that have a different skill set than me, that are better at different types of fishing, and try and get them to talk in these Gist of Tips videos. So maybe that'll be its own separate video in the future as a Gist of Tips beach snook fishing video. So until then, I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing to catch fish. So if you guys have watched my last couple of videos, you know that I've really been targeting mangrove shorelines for most of my fish recently. Kind of like when I talked about the redfish in the last video. During high tides, these snook like to get back up into these mangrove roots and sit there for like the structure and also to ambush prey. On a high tide, you really want to try and push as far back in the mangroves, and it's the same thing with the redfish. You want to look for kind of cuts in the mangroves, or sometimes you will even see snook kind of piled up on the edge where their face is kind of facing out of the mangroves, and you want to pitch your bait to them that way. You just want to try and get your bait as close to the mangroves or as far back in the mangroves as you can get. As the tide starts to lower, these snook will then push out of the mangroves and start patrolling the shoreline right there. So if you're on like a mid-tide or tide's going down or coming up and they're waiting to get in the mangroves or just coming out, you want to fish along the shoreline. And usually when I'm doing that, I'm pitching artificial. I'm usually using like a DOA Cal. We've been getting a lot of fish on that recently, me and my buddy Bob. You guys know Bob from the black drum fishing videos. You guys gave him so much love in that video. We still have a good laugh about that, but it's fine. And we went out and we both got some success going for the snook using a DOA Cal. He ended up getting like a 24. We ended up breaking off on a couple beasts, and it was a good day, but we just didn't catch enough to make a video. So my go-to is a DOA Cal in a greenback color on a 1/8 ounce jig head. And usually I'm throwing that with like 25 or 30 pound leader. When I'm targeting these fish, I'm usually using my Penn Battle 4000 on a medium power rod. And that seems to be the perfect combination for like any of these like 20-inch to like low 30s. And other than that, I would go some heavier tackle. So we've been going out and using live bait also, and that's been working really well. You get a lot more numbers using live bait. It seems like, especially if you're using greenbacks, you get a lot of snook. They're usually in that like 18 to like 25-inch range, and usually they'll just pipe a greenback as soon as it hits the water. If you're looking for these bigger snook, bigger baits like big grunts, or I've even heard of people using like ladyfish and even big mullet and stuff like that, work really well for these bigger size snook. So if your goal is to go out and just catch a lot of snook, usually in like the 18 to like mid 20-inch range, I'd recommend going out to these mangrove islands and pitching either live bait using like live greenbacks or even shrimp. I'm sure shrimp would work too, along the mangroves on high tide and a little bit further off as the snook push out on the outgoing tide. Or I'd also recommend using a DOA Cal, or maybe even like a topwater like a Zara Spook. You'll get a good number of these mid-range snook, like a little under slot size. But if you're going for these bigger snook, the best approach is to use big baits. So maybe big artificials like a big swim bait or something like that. or big live grunts or mullet or even live ladyfish works really well if you can get some in like the 8 to 10 inch range and go from there. These big snook will only really target big baits. Another technique that I've been doing recently is going back into these like intercoastal, like different canal kind of areas in this darker stained water, and there's a lot of residential docks in there, and these snook like to hang on the structure of the residential docks. What I've been doing is kind of motoring in and then positioning myself on the edge of these docks and casting underneath. Usually what I'm doing is I'm going for redfish when I'm doing that. And every once in a while, I'll get a snook doing that, and you'll see some freaking monsters doing this. You'll see some 40 inchers pushing around and everything. So if you go in these areas with some big baits and you're prepared to try and horse these fish out of the docks, you should be able to catch some of these bigger snook that are in there too. There's also a lot of the smaller size ones too, a lot of the 18 to 25 inch range, and again, using like a DOA Cala, like small live bait, you'll get plenty of snook doing it. So if I wanted to go out and just make a day of snook fishing, what I would do is plan it around the tides, and on the higher tides, I would go to these mangrove islands or just any mangrove shoreline really with live baits. That's what I would try and get, some live greenbacks or maybe some larger like live mullet or like live grunts or something like that. Go to these mangrove shorelines and cast these baits along the mangroves as close as I can get to the roots, and I'll catch a lot of fish doing that way. And then as the tide starts pushing out, kind of follow the fish out of the roots onto the grass flats, and maybe once the tide gets even lower than that, and I'll go back into these residential canals and fish some of these docks and do it that way. Like I said, I'll be trying to use live greenbacks. That would be my #1 option right now. Or I would try and get some shrimp. The smaller snook would definitely eat some shrimp. When I'm using the smaller baits like that, I would definitely use like a 2 or 3-0 circle hook and maybe like 25-30 pound leader. If I was going with artificials, I would go with a DOA Cal and greenback color on a 1/8 ounce jig head. And I would also use the Zara Spook and probably a bone color, and also a Miralure Meridian. If you guys have watched that video that I posted a couple weeks ago where I lost that massive snook on the Meridian, it still hurts a little bit. So I'd still need to go out with a Meridian, cast that around a little bit more, and hopefully I can get some of these bigger snook on that. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry I don't have like enough footage to make like an actual going out like fishing day kind of video. But I'm reading the comments and it seems like you guys are really enjoying these Just the Tips, and it seems like it's really helping you guys, and that makes me so happy to read these comments. So on these slower days and slower weeks, I'll try and pump out some of these videos, and on the days that are actually like nice and we catch a lot of fish, that's when I'll post those videos. So as long as you guys keep enjoying these, I'm gonna keep cranking these out. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That would really mean a lot to me. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.